do you say, guys? Welcome to Elephant in the Room, brought to you by mybookie.ag. Use that promo code NEXTROUND to double your initial deposit. We'll talk about the NFL Combine. One of the NFL's best players contemplating retirement. I think that's an interesting topic. And then this lawsuit that's going to pay players up until 2016 that played college football. 1 year prior to this guy getting out of college football.
I got 11 days. I got 11 days.
He's got 11 days. All right, we'll talk about all that right here on Elephant in the Room. All right, I know we'll talk about some basketball as well, but that's Jay Coker. I'm Mick Gillispie. Thanks for being here. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. The NFL Combine's cranking up right now, and Bama has 9 players that are listed to be part of the Combine. James Burnip, Malachi Moore, Jahad Campbell, Tim Smith, Q Robinson, Tyler Booker, who's going to be a first-round pick like Campbell. Robbie Oots, love him at tight end, kind of a blocking guy, but can catch the ball. CJ Dupree, another tight end, talked to him a couple weeks ago in the Senior Bowl. And then Jalen Milroe, Alabama's quarterback. Did you go through the NFL Combine? What's that experience like?
No, I did not go to the Combine. That was one of those, I think, I did not get invited, and I don't know. Thought it was weird. Definitely thought it was weird, but no, I did not get the invite. I think the Alabama quarterback perception got the best of me there.
Really? Which has changed a lot now, right?
Yeah, it has. Because I remember, at Pro Day, and Coach Saban had my back on that. Didn't make a whole lot of sense, but really, what does it matter now? Just one of those things. Just didn't get the invite.
Right. So what is it like? Just like some kind of like a skills competition or something?
I don't know. You know as much about it as me. I've only watched it on TV.
Guys running around. I think I was watching it on the NFL Network one time, and there was an equipment malfunction on a guy running sprints. I was like, okay, wow.
Yeah. I'd definitely be wearing shorts if I was running, not just the tights.
Did you when you were playing though? How much of that stuff did you guys do like at the start of the season? I mean, were they tracking like how high you jumped and how far you threw and how your sprint speeds and stuff?
We always had to wear like this they used to call it the catapult system, and you had to wear a bra, and they put a chip in. You had like this little slot where you put a chip in it, and you'd run and it'd calculate steps and speed, distance. They put it in during practice. Like if you watch a practice, a lot of times back in 2015, you'd look at the shoulder pads, and in the back of the shoulder pads there'd be this blinking green light. Mm-hmm. that was that tracker, shooting off to the remote satellite on the field, and you had somebody tracking all that. But yeah, it was crazy. In like 2 hours, those receivers would run like 6 miles, and that's like 4 days back to back, just a crazy amount of steps and just conditioning during one practice period. But I'm trying to think, I don't think I did much shuttle, or Scott Cochran may hear this and cuss me, but I don't remember doing, the L drill or really any of that measurement stuff too often. We may have done it once here and there, but it wasn't something we did every day.
Right. Yeah.
And I still, this is all, it's all just show for the TV cameras. You get most of what you need on film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen plenty of guys that don't measure too well that are animals on the field because they anticipate so well. They got great body control. They understand where to be, when to be there. And, I mean, at the end of the day, football's, I mean, don't get me wrong. If there's a huge physical gap, I mean, that's going to make a difference. But when you're talking NFL guys, I mean, the mental side is so much deeper than how fast you run the 40 or, you know, how many times you bench press 225 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
But it's I mean, the NFL, it's a great way to get people interested. I mean, I think it basically gives people an idea of you know, what NFL players are capable of. But in terms of evaluation, I'm sure they use some of it, but at the end of the day, the film's going to speak for itself.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. Well, you got to play the game, but they like analytics. You know, any kind of analytic that you can throw out there to quantitate why someone's good or what they do well. You know, that stuff's going to matter. You know, and that's going to play into you know what them trying to make a decision on paying somebody, and some of these guys a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the film and then the interviews, the private interviews with teams, is what gets you drafted high. I mean,
yeah,
there may be a couple of guys that just their measurables are so great that teams just can't miss out because of the potential ceiling. But I don't know, man. If I'm a coach and I'm a GM, I'm picking guys that are very cerebral. And you know, aren't a liability off the field. I mean, that'd be my main two. Basically, you know, the Jalen Hurtses, the I don't know. You could name a few, but you know, prototypical Jalen Hurts, somebody similar.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. What about Jalen Milroe? Can he duplicate Jalen Hurts?
I mean, we've been through this before. I don't know. I mean, look, Jalen. I thought they had, you know, Jalen Hurts' early years. I thought they had similar skill sets. I thought Jalen Milroe probably had a little stronger arm, but again, when you're talking about quarterback play and winning, I mean, the mindset, the leadership capability, that to me takes you and your team far beyond what just the physical talent is going to take you. Because I mean, you look at this year, Jaylen Milroe is heck of a runner. He makes good decisions. Doesn't have the strongest arm I've ever seen, but he's got such a high level of character. His teammates love him. He's tough. You know, he's the kind of guy you want as your quarterback. If you just, I mean, I don't know Jalen that well, but you know, you watch him on TV, you listen to what the people at Alabama had to say about him, Coach Saban say about him. I mean, that's the guy you want as a leader. And, and you know, I've said it before, there's other quarterbacks out there that I think, you know, if you just say, here, take a 5-step drop, throw this go ball, or throw this bang 8, you know, whatever. I mean, he in terms of NFL, he's not going to throw it like Josh Allen, but man, he's got a way of just commanding a room and leading a team.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, Milroe going through the process, he's the most intriguing guy on this list to me. I think all of us kind of feel the same way, you know, where he's going to end up being drafted. You know, what do the scouts think of him? And it only takes one team, you know, to say, hey, man, we really like this guy. Sometimes being drafted, you know, further back's good because you're on a better team. You know, people can say what they want to say about Jalen Hurts, but he's on a great team, you know, and it takes a great team.
Yeah, I mean, Dak Prescott, you know, I mean, I think Dak's got, you know, he's fallen short, hadn't been able to win a Super Bowl, but he's one of those guys. I played with him in the Senior Bowl. Great guy, talented guy, but slipped back into the 4th, 5th round and drafted by the Cowboys. And who knows what happens if he gets drafted by the Browns or somebody that's of lesser talent. I mean, I say it all the time. If you're not on a good team as a quarterback, then you're not going to look good either.
No.
Pretty
hard to do that.
Yeah. I mean, again, we talked about it last podcast. The only one I've seen dominate what looked like almost single-handedly was Cam Newton, at Auburn. I mean, it still had some help around him, but, it wasn't the type of team in Tuscaloosa,
Yeah, right. Yeah, they won the championship. Yeah, crazy how good he was. Yeah, very good point. So this lawsuit, and the reason I'm bringing it up is my friend Neil McCready and Tyler Siskey, you know him, so we kind of got both sides covered. But I've known Neil for a long time. They have a podcast and they have AJ McCarron on, and AJ was talking about this. They asked him about the lawsuit, the college football lawsuit, where basically from 2016 up until I guess now, they're going to compensate players for some of the deals that college football made. I don't know what what that's going to look like. I don't know how much money each person's going to get or anything like that. But he talked about this, and I totally get it. He's like, look, my jersey was top 3 in sales, number 10 when he played for 2 years. And he didn't get any money for that. And I kind of feel bad about that because I agree with him. Like, I remember that. Everybody went, you were playing quarterback. Everybody's got to wear 14. He's wearing, everybody wears 10. Wear 2 for Hurts. I mean, and when you're at Alabama and you're the quarterback and you win, everybody wants to wear your jersey. Now everybody's wearing Ryan Williams' number 17. Go try to buy that, But for him not to be compensated for it, and he was talking about Johnny Manziel kind of being, I think Johnny Manziel was like number 1, and then he was, but you guys not getting compensated. And he's like, basically the lawsuit with bad luck for you. They sued him from 2016 on. You left in 2016 after 10 days or 8 days or whatever. But it's got to be frustrating.
I mean, how these lawsuits go, though. I mean, there's going to be a lawyer that makes $50 million, and then there's going to be about 100,000 players that make about $14 a piece.
You guys are like that video game. Hey, I got $500.
yeah. I mean, I was, and I think it's uniform across the board. I mean, I don't think it's, it's like getting it's like getting a coupon. I can't imagine it's going to be much. So
yeah, I don't know. Well, let me throw this at you. If the college football, the NCAA college football game was like, look, we want to put 2015 Alabama on there. What do you think your skill set would look like? If you played video games before, like what would they give you for like?
I think my toughness would be 100. I'll give my toughness 100. I ain't getting hurt.
You're running over dudes.
I think my arm strength would be pretty high. It's kind of like they used to always talk shit about my athleticism, and I had to give old Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit the old, had to give it to him a little bit about that back in the day.
They deserved it.
Oh yeah. That's why I told Chris Fowler, I was like, man, I hear y'all making all these comments. Y'all just see a big white guy and he's slow.
Yeah, go ask the guys playing against me.
Yeah. So I would imagine I don't know, my overall, I mean, I would hope my overall would be, at least 82, right?
I think that would be fair. I'd give you 82. And then
damn, not even you're selling yourself short.
That's 82 is good, man. I mean, like that's good. I mean, because you got to figure Derrick Henry's got to be like a 99, right?
Yeah.
And he's and we were talking about this, Clint Lamb and I, on one of the other Elephant in the Room shows, the Mount Rushmore of Alabama football, right? So, so I got to have Derek Thomas on it, right? So that's 3 spots. And then it's like, do you put Joe Namath on there? I mean, you gonna not have Joe Namath on? You got a national championship and a Super Bowl, but then you got to have Derek. To me, you got to have Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry's the best player of the Saban era, because I think he's the best of the Heisman Trophy winners, right? So then you got Derrick Henry on there, and so then that gives you one more spot. And I mean, like, it's impossible to do.
I mean, I think you got to go Mark Ingram, don't you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you put Mark Ingram on. I love Mark Ingram. I mean, love him. I ran into him at Chuck's Fish, like, I don't know, 2010. And I was like, man, I just can't thank you enough. Before I was even working in this field, really, I was just
so you said Joe Namath, Derrick Henry, Derek Thomas,
and then I don't know who the fourth one is.
I mean, you thinking Stabler?
I mean, you could put Snake in there, and I mean, look, maybe you replace.
But is Stabler on there? Do you think Stabler's on there because of just his relationship with Alabama over the years? And
you know what? I'm replacing Joe Namath with Snake, but I still gives me one more spot. Yeah, you're right.
I don't think you can. Man, Namath, I don't think you can. If you don't have him on there, then I think your Mount Rushmore's. You got to throw that one in the trash.
But you're right. Like Snake, Snake is the best radio guy Alabama's ever had. He's the best radio guy. Like, not just a Super Bowl champion. Didn't he win it? No, he didn't win a national champion. So I guess that would be different. Okay, well, you know what? Maybe Joe Namath on there. But I love Snake too, man. All right, you switch me back to Joe Namath. But I mean, I feel like there's like one more other person in there. And there's so many choices.
I think about Mark Ingram, though. He was the Heisman Trophy winner, and he was, the Heisman Trophy winner when Alabama was coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, okay, so I can't put him on there, man. Like, I love him, but I can't put him on there. I already got a running back, and I already got a quarterback, and I got a defensive guy. So I got to go defensive guy for my other one.
So you got
So
you got to split it in half.
So so I need another defensive guy.
What about Leroy Jordan?
I mean, that's a good one right there, but you can't discount the Saban guys.
I'm not. We got
Minka Fitzpatrick could be one.
Minka could, skill wise and performance. Are we talking about because here we go.
It's just tough.
Joe Namath, Joe Namath and Ken Stabler. The legend behind them is what it's almost unfair because just the legend behind them is so great at Alabama.
All right, I got my fourth guy.
All right, who?
Julio.
Okay, well, yeah.
That's it. It's Julio. Because he's a legend.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
You know what I mean? Like, you kind of just nailed it down for me. Who would your four be?
I'm going Derek. I'm going Namath. For me, I've been around old school Alabama guys, and I've heard so much about Leroy.
Put him in there.
He's kind of one of those first defensive guys.
Yeah.
That comes to mind, just old school.
Mm-hmm.
Rolando McClain is one that he was.
Yeah.
So, all right. Namath, Leroy, Derek. Julio that's a good one. Julio's probably got to be my fourth.
He's a legend.
I'm biased too because I freaking love Julio.
Me too.
He's the kind of guy, dude. He's the kind of guy. He's the kind of guy that, I mean, if you got to point to people you want representing Alabama, I mean, hey, that's the kind of guy I like. That's the kind of guy I want.
Yeah, he was awesome. All right, so this is tough. You guys get in the comment section and you tell us who your Mount Rushmore. This is such a tough thing, though. It's almost impossible. I mean, it's like you can sit here and do this all day, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, I like the podcast, the McCready Siskey podcast when AJ's on there. He's pretty interesting. Like he just gets on there and brings some gas, man. I mean, he's not afraid to say anything. Do you ever watch? I watch the clips. I don't even watch the regular show. I just see the clips. They pop up on my feed, and I'm friends with Neil, and I'm always like, "Holy crap! Did he just say that?"
Dude. It's funny. It's funny watching him get. I mean, you see a little bit of it there. We flew up to Coach Saban's golf tournament together. Me and AJ and a couple other guys, and I remember, we're sitting on that plane and we're talking and we're having a good time, and then when we leave the golf tournament, we hop on the same van, get on the plane, fly back to Mobile, and topics were coming up. It was Lucas Black was one of them. The actor Lucas.
Yeah.
Lucas Black. He was one of them, and then we had another guy. And somehow something political came up, and I knew AJ. I knew where he stood. And if I know where he stands, I know that everybody else is going to know where he stands. He gets going, and I'm like, "Oh, here we go." The guy I'm sitting with, he leans over, he goes, "AJ's not afraid to tell you what he thinks, is he?" And I was like, "No, get ready. Put that seatbelt on."
Yeah. It's time to get him on this podcast.
Oh, he's great.
It's time to corral him in here. Get him in here. We got to get back together in person. I know our schedules have kind of been conflicting a little bit, but we definitely got to. That's a goal for us. All right, last thing I wanted to ask you about is Travis Kelce. Of course, I know you're a big Taylor Swift fan and everything. That's her boyfriend. He plays for the Chiefs, and I met him. I hung out with him out in Arizona, so I've met him. He's a good dude, but he's got until I think March to decide whether he's going to retire or not. He's thinking about retiring, and he's like, man, playing in all these, championship games and Super Bowls has kind of wore his body down a little bit. And I got to thinking about that. He's right. I mean, it's 3 extra NFL games a year because they went to 3 straight Super Bowls, and then they were like the year before that they lose the championship game, and then the year before that they were in the Super Bowl. I mean, they've been in all these.
He's almost played an extra regular season.
Yeah.
Probably 60-70% of an extra regular season. That's
What's
a lot
like for
more.
You guys?
Huh?
Well, when you were at Alabama, you always played extra games.
Yeah, but we also only played 12 games during the regular season.
Right.
I mean, we didn't even play and if you in the BCS era until my second to last year in college, I mean, you only played 2 extra games: the conference championship and the national championship,
right,
or a bowl game. So I mean, you're still only playing 14 games. I mean, and then you got the rest and the break. I mean, college, just those guys are playing sometimes Sunday and then Thursday, aren't they?
Yeah.
Now, that would be brutal. That would be brutal in the NFL. I mean,
or Mondays too, I mean, and then you got to come back and play,
you play Monday and then play Thursday.
I know, but even if you played Monday and you had to play on like, the next week on Sunday, you're getting less days.
I mean, you play Sunday and then you turn around and play Thursday. I mean, I remember like the worst games I played in terms of being sore. I mean, the next day wasn't as bad as 2 days later.
Oh yeah, that's anything.
I mean, it set in so much worse 2 days later. And
that's travel too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sitting in that, imagine being 340 pounds in that little airplane seat. Imagine Shank.
He's in here. I'm always like, God, I feel like I need a bigger couch for this guy.
Yeah. Well, when you're sitting on a plane and some giant dude comes and sits down, you see him coming down the aisle. And
Yeah,
you're like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
In your head, you're just like, please no. Please no.
You don't want him to look at that ticket and look above you.
Yeah. Well, unless you're a starter at Alabama, every time you board the plane, you're sitting next to somebody massive. You just got to hope you just hope you're sitting next to the punter or the kicker.
Right.
I mean,
who'd you
outside of that, it's like putting all your money on the numbers on a roulette table. I mean,
who did you sit next to?
Man, I was all over the place. I was getting drug all over the place. I think I did sit next to Shank one time. I know I was next to A. Shawn one time because him and Jonathan Allen were so, they're about to fight, talking about who got more sacks.
You've talked about that.
Yeah.
Who had the better game?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was like, oh my God. Not only is this flight going to be uncomfortable, but I'm about to get my ass whipped right in the middle of this fight before.
Let's break it up here. Let's not do this. Cooler heads prevail, everybody.
Hey, Coach, somebody gonna break this up?
Oh man. Well, final thing, basketball Saturday. Bama, I don't know if you saw this, but they're number one in the the coaches poll. But Auburn's number one in the AP, and then they're number two in the other polls. Why don't we use the number one in the coaches poll? Because we're number one. And what do you think about having the two number one teams go at it in Tuscaloosa? What are your thoughts on this game?
First time ever in the SEC. I hope we don't rush the court when we beat them. Been there, done that.
So you feel confident about it?
I don't know, man. Basketball, when you got two teams that are evenly matched like this, I mean, it comes down to one or two threes,
Yeah.
I mean, here's what I hope. I just hope we dominate the boards and give ourselves more opportunities than Auburn does. I think if we get, if we can rebound with them and just be aggressive getting those rebounds and, get as many shots up. Don't turn the ball over. I mean, you got a chance. But, I didn't realize this. I think the average age of the starting lineup for Auburn's 23.
Wow.
I mean, they got a bunch of old guys over there. Yeah.
They're good, man.
That's kind of what we talked about, this era of transferring. And I mean, it used to be the one and done and how Kentucky kind of fell apart, in my opinion, had a bunch of guys. You build your team around one and dones and they get out early, and then everybody else kind of is able to build their rosters and have experience. That's what Auburn's having right now. I mean, they got great players, don't get me wrong, but having guys that are, 22, 23, I think one of them's 25. I mean, that's a lot of experience in college and you got a lot of leadership there. So that's a team that's built to win. But again, man, I'm so excited. If you've been watching Alabama basketball for a long time, I mean, like I have, I've loved watching basketball as much as football growing up. And so, I mean, just to be in this conversation, playing the first time 1 versus 2 in the SEC is pretty cool. It's Auburn too,
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy. And we'll see it again. This is one of 2 games plus whatever happens in the tournament. And so who knows, man, these teams could play a bunch before it's all said and done. Well, guys, thanks for hanging out with us on Elephant in the Room, mybookie.ag. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. And we'll get back together with you next week. But get in the comments section. Tell us what you think. Be a part of the show that way. And throw some ideas up there. Anything you guys want to ask us, anything you want to talk about. We want to hear that because it's that time of year right now. We're all trying to figure out exactly, what to get into on these shows. But have a great weekend, everyone. Roll Tide. We'll see what Bama does. And don't forget to check out covercrimson.com. Clint Lamb over there breaking down Bama's roster, going through every single player on the roster, ranking them, and kind of giving you a description, what they bring to the table, anything going on with the coaches, transfer portal, all that stuff. We got you covered there as well, and recruiting. So take advantage of that, and like, subscribe, thumbs up right here. Roll Tide, everybody.